Alright guys, now that we know the basics of how to set up a really simple web server, what I want to do is I want to introduce you guys to a server framework called Connect. So a lot of the functionality that we would commonly write to handle user requests has already been written for us and packaged up into a nice framework called Connect. So how do we install the Connect module? Well, the first thing that we need to do is go down to this terminal right here, and you guys are gonna probably cry when you see how easy this is. Type npm install connect, and that's it. What this is gonna do is it's gonna go on the internet, look for this package called Connect. It already knows exactly where to go, download it, and install it and configure it with your project. So check this out. We can now use Connect. One line of code. How easy was that? Now, this little installer right here, it's actually, I don't want to say more complex, but we have some additional options, and what I'm going to do is devote an entirely new tutorial to showing you guys how to use it and all the different options and commands you can use. But for right now, check it out. Again, what that did is it went and downloaded and installed Connect. So if you look in your node_modules directory, we now have it all right there. Pretty stinking awesome. Did a lot for one line of code, eh? Alright, so now let's figure out how to use this module and what it's all about. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is actually just require it, import it. So require, of course it's called Connect, and in this example what I'm going to do is I'm also going to use HTTP from the last tutorial. So before we can start using this Connect framework, the first thing we need to do is we need to create a Connect dispatcher. Now, this is pretty much the core Connect object, and you can think of it as a function that just takes the request and response arguments. So whenever the user makes a request to your server, it's going to look to this right here to pretty much determine how it wants to handle that request. So if you just name it app, and this is actually pretty standard to name an app, and all the Connect examples online, that's what they do. So I thought might as well follow convention. Again, since this is essentially just a function that takes the request and response argument, whenever we're setting up our server, HTTP create server, what we can do, and actually I probably typed that too fast. Alright, so as you can see, create server, it takes a request listener as an argument. So that argument is actually this object right here. Simple enough. And now, of course, we need to give it a port to listen on. I think last tutorial we used 8888. Might as well stick with that one. And after our server is up and running, might as well log something out to verify it. Server is running. So right now, if we try to connect to our server, nothing is happening. But if we run this bad boy, then check it out. So we have a connection, but right now it says cannot get /. This means that it can't even get the home page because obviously we just have like the really bare basics right now. Alright, let me adjust a little bit. Alright. So essentially, like I said, whenever we connect to the website, to our server, what it's going to do is in our code it's going to look to app right here to say, how do you want me to handle this request? That is embarrassing. Okay, let's continue here. Pretend that didn't happen. Alright, so the first thing that we can do is we can use a method called use. So inside here we write a little chunk of code, and the code to handle user requests is called middleware. So at first, let me just make something really easy. We'll call a function called doFirst, and of course these functions, they take the request, which is the user request, the response, if I could type, which is the response that we're sending back, and they also take a third optional parameter called next, and I'll show you guys in like 2 minutes why we need this third parameter. So just so we can have something going on, whenever they request, whenever they make a request on a server, we'll just do something really stupid and log out the word bacon to the terminal. Alright, so that is pretty much how we can set all that up. Again, we don't even use the request, response, or next right now. I'm just showing you guys a real quick example. Server's running. We just refresh the page and check it out. It says bacon. Pretty stupid. It seems like we could do that before. So what is one of the benefits of using Connect? Well, one of the reasons people like this is because you can actually take this middleware and stack it on top of each other. So in other words, whenever you have a stack of middleware, these functions can get executed one by one after each other. So you can actually have a function called do first and another one called do second. Now that's where this next parameter comes in. And actually, let me copy this real quick. Alright, so now we have two pieces of code, two functions that we want to run, do first and do second. So if we type next, and for the second one, we'll just log out tuna. Alright, so what's going on here? What is this next keyword? What is this stack and nonsense I was talking about? Check this out. Actually, let me stop that. It's annoying me. Alright, not running. Beautiful. Alright. So whenever the user connects to our website, whenever they make a request to our server, what's going to happen is it's going to say, okay, app, how do you want me to handle this? So it's going to go up to this app object, and it says, you obviously want me to use this function, do first. So what it's going to do is it's going to run first, do first, and then it's going to look for a method called next. If it has this method, then it's going to go to the next object in the stack, which is do second. So hopefully, if I didn't do anything stupid or forget any semicolons, whenever I run this and a user makes a request, it's going to call bacon, go to the next one, which is do second, and tuna. So let's see what's going on. Bacon and tuna. Now again, you don't always have to have this next right here. What you can do is you can actually make some kind of logic. Again, this would typically be something like you're going to test if the user has permission to do this thing or that. But if they actually, I guess that's a Python code. I'm a little used to typing Python. But what you can do is you can actually decide if you want to call this next method or not. So let me clear this out and run this again. And let's make another request. So again, if you don't call it, then of course this second object in the stack, it never gets called, and that's why tuna was never written. Alright, so that was pretty interesting, I guess, but not really that useful. Still don't really understand why Connect is so popular. Well, to be honest, that was just a really simple demo. The reason that people love using Connect is actually for this. In addition to just using some plain old middleware, what you can also do is have an optional argument of a path. So let's say that you had a couple different pages on your website. This was the home page. It's not running right now, but we'll say that we have a profile page and a forum, whatever. So what you can do is you can actually type the path profile, and then we'll just make a function called profile after this. So essentially what's going to happen here is whenever the user makes a request for the profile page, you're going to call a function called profile. So this might be displaying their profile picture or whatever. So function profile, I'll just say in response. So again, I'm not actually going to display a picture or anything. I'll just log out user requested profile or something. Alright. So again, whenever they go to their profile, it will run this function, and just so I can show you guys that we can have more than one, we'll say that we have a forum as well. Make another function called forum, and we'll say user requested forum. Alright, so now let's kick this off and check it out. So our home page, again, nothing new there. However, if we go to profile, and let me show you guys this. So we don't have anything logged out right now. However, I'm going to go to profile, hit enter, and check it out. User requested profile, and it'll be the same thing for forum. Again, what we would do here is actually display something on the screen for them, but that is pretty much how we would handle different user requests depending on the path. So eventually what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using logic similar to this to inspect the path to figure out what request is the user making, what web page are they trying to go to, and then we're going to be able to call a function that displays the HTML, the CSS, and all the brains behind our app in a nice, neat way. So there you go. Thank you guys for watching, and don't know what I'm going to be talking about in the next video, but it's going to be awesome, so I'll see you then.